We're in a pivotal moment for ServiceNow developers. Veteran developers tend to stick with what they know and are commonly playing catch up on the latest features and functionality of the platform, while new developers face a challenging landscape. AI is transforming how developers will work, competition is fierce, and even when they finally land a job, it comes with the pressure to perform as if they've been on the platform for several years. The expectations are higher than ever. Now, when you think of a developer, coding might be the first thing that comes to mind, but here's a surprising fact. Developers only spend 24% of their time actually coding. So, if coding is your main focus, you are only scratching the surface of what it takes to excel. In today's rapidly evolving landscape, organizations are increasingly seeking developers with strategic development intelligence. Those who bring unique human insight, strategic foresight, and platform-savvy knowledge to the table. So, how can you prepare for this shift and stand out as a top-tier ServiceNow developer? Stay tuned because I'm about to reveal 10 secrets that'll elevate your skills and set you apart. Hi, my name is Alan Andreas, a certified master architect with over a decade of ServiceNow experience. Throughout my career, I've worked with customers, major global partners, small boutique firms, in both the public and private sector across a variety of roles. But throughout all of that, one thing I've consistently noticed are the same gaps in skills and common missteps that developers make no matter where they're working. So, to help the community, I've put together 10 secrets that'll put you on the right track to become a top-tier ServiceNow developer. Nearly all job postings for a ServiceNow developer role require the Certified Application Developer or CAD certification, even though traditionally most developers didn't regularly work with custom applications. However, as organizations increasingly adopt ServiceNow to address unique business needs, working with custom apps has become more common. It's now important for developers to build skills in key areas like knowing when to extend an out-of-the-box application versus creating a custom app. You should also know the difference between the application repository and update sets. Be aware of and use semantic versioning. Know how to work with cross-scope and restricted caller access privileges. Know how and why to sync your development with source control, and understanding App Engine licensing and normalizing the association of your custom tables to the appropriate subscription in subscription management. Experience with integrations is a key skill that sets junior and senior developers apart. So, getting hands-on with them early in your career is highly recommended. You can start practicing integrations in your free ServiceNow Personal Developer Instance, or PDI, at a minimum, or shadow a team member. Remember, you don't need to be in an architect role to critically assess whether an integration is actually necessary, especially if it doesn't clearly support business outcomes or seems costly and complex to maintain. To reach a top-tier level, familiarize yourself with both inbound and outbound REST approaches. For inbound connections from third-party systems, your options include the scripted REST API for a pro-code approach or the REST API trigger in Flow Designer for a low-code option, though this requires an Integration Hub Enterprise subscription. For outbound calls, you could create a REST message with all of the required configurations and then use a script to trigger it, or use a REST step within a Flow Designer action for a simpler, low-code solution. Mastering these options will greatly expand your capabilities on the platform. For most developers, script includes are often the first step beyond client scripts for expanding your scripting skills. They're ideal for creating reusable code and offer better performance than business rules since they load only when requested. I remember when I first started with ServiceNow, I steered clear of script includes because they felt intimidating, but I'd highly recommend getting comfortable with them early on. In most cases, when you need to pull data from the server on the client side, the Glide Ajax API is what you'll want to use. I highly recommend Sean Dowler's cheat sheet for a clear breakdown of the client script and script include components. For example, choosing Get XML Answer over Get XML. This can save resources as the former retrieves only the specific information you need, while the latter pulls the entire XML document, often containing much more data than necessary. It's also essential to know when a script include is the preferred choice, such as for reusable or complex server-side logic, or when handling updates, inserts, and deletes in scripted web services. Understanding these best practices will set you to operate at a top-tier level. Custom portal widgets are another area where many developers have limited experience, as they're often focused on other parts of the platform. This gives you a valuable opportunity to stand out by building skills in web languages like HTML, CSS, and AngularJS, which, even though it's deprecated elsewhere, it has long-term support from ServiceNow, and most documentation and out-of-box widgets contain this language. Aim to become comfortable creating a custom widget that connects HTML, the client controller, and the server to pass information across. Additionally, understanding how widgets communicate with each other, such as when you have multiple on the same page or one embedded inside of another, can be a game changer, such as effectively communicating by using emit over broadcast, or ideally, implementing a publish-subscribe service for event handling. Another tip would be to know how to use server.get instead of server.update in your client script when trying to communicate with the server. You don't need to become a front-end developer, but enhancing these skills will definitely set you apart from most. Another valuable skill to develop is defensive programming. This means writing proactive, resilient code that guards against potential issues before they become problems. Now, I'm not saying you need to code for every scenario, although you should have a catch-all process in place, but handling cases like null or undefined values, invalid inputs, and adding self-checks can significantly strengthen your code. Then, the next piece, which is a nice cherry on top, is error handling, which consists of adding features like exception handling to direct the process instead of just simply letting it fail. Custom error messages for a better user experience and fallback strategies are also great to use. For example, if an integration with a third-party system and you don't get a response, should it retry or maybe open an incident for another team to review? Becoming a defensive programmer who integrates strong error handling practices will certainly elevate you to top-tier status. We've made it halfway through our list of 10 secrets to become a top-tier ServiceNow developer. If you found this video helpful so far, please support us by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. In ServiceNow, each decision can have long-term effects, so making informed strategic development decisions is essential. For instance, diving into custom solutions without first exploring existing platform features can lead to unnecessary technical debt. Always start by asking, is there a native feature that can achieve this outcome? With ServiceNow regularly rolling out new features, researching first can save time and reduce risks. You should also be cautious when modifying global objects and consider discussing any changes with your team. If you need to work on an object that another team member or vendor might also be handling, it's wise to perform due diligence first and double-check with the team. This simple, extra step helps prevent conflicts or functionality issues that can pop up when the code is moved to another instance. If customization is necessary, make sure to document the technical debt by noting its origin, type, affected components, priority, and its impact on performance, upgrades, and user experience so that it can be properly reviewed and approved. Then, once implemented, set a future review date and record it in something like a technical debt register to properly keep track of it. As we discussed earlier, when working with custom applications, it's essential to get familiar with the application repository, but there are times you'll still need to use update sets. Even senior developers can overlook a few key points here. For example, not all updates are captured automatically in an update set. This includes things like data and scheduled job records. Also, be mindful of cross-scope issues. If an update set contains updates from multiple scopes, this will lead to commit errors on the other instance, so it's best to check ahead for these and separate them into their own sets. Other best practices include batching instead of merging sets, conducting proper research and resolution for preview errors, and understanding the complexities of backing out an update set. Spoiler alert, it's trickier than it looks, so later on, check out my video on backing out an update set for a deep dive. Mastering update set management may seem very basic, but update set preview errors are surprisingly common. Do not be the one to cause problems during those weekend code moves. Although the system administrator typically leads the ServiceNow upgrade process, you'll likely be asked to help review and resolve any skip changes for areas you've worked on. Skip changes occur when the upgrade bypasses an out-of-the-box record that has been customized beyond the active field status. You may receive a list of these skip changes to review, which should be prioritized, starting with priority 1, then priority 2, and so on. It's essential to understand the available resolution options and when to apply each, whether you're reverting it back to baseline, merging these new updates with your customization, or retaining your customization and skipping the upgrade change altogether. Choosing the wrong option can lead to missed upgrade features or cause performance issues and user experience issues, so careful review is key. Another critical area where developers can significantly elevate their status to top tier is by enhancing their documentation skills. This should be mind-blowing that it's even included in the 10 secrets here, but many developers do not provide any documentation at all, or if they do, it's poorly written, whether that's by failing to provide detailed comments within their code, or by not creating additional documents that properly explain functionality, design decisions, and usage guidelines. Aim to incorporate clear, concise comments directly within your code explaining the purpose of complex logic. Additionally, creating comprehensive external documentation that outlines application architecture, APIs, and user instructions will further solidify your reputation as a reliable developer. By cultivating strong documentation habits, you're not only enhancing the quality of your own work, but also positioning yourself as a valuable team member who contributes to the overall success of your team. As mentioned earlier, developers only spend about 24% of their time coding. Testing is another one of their key responsibilities. While many developers are familiar with peer review and user acceptance testing, otherwise known as UAT, top-tier developers understand that testing is an integral part of every development stage. Being aware of the different types of testing that will follow your work highlights why thorough preparation and due diligence on your end are so important. Beyond peer review and UAT, you'll also want to know about unit testing, which ensures individual components function correctly. Smoke testing, which checks for basic functionality, and regression testing, which verifies that the new changes don't disrupt existing features. Bringing a strategic approach to your development makes each testing stage smoother, speeds up review cycles, and reduces defects, all of which directly reflect your expertise. So, when your work is well prepared for each testing type, you set a high standard for performance and reliability that establishes you as a highly valuable asset to any organization. And there you have it, folks. 10 powerful tips beyond the CAD certification to help you become a top-tier ServiceNow developer. With these skills now in your toolkit, you'll be set to stand out in the job market and showcase the incredible value a high-performing developer can bring to any organization. We hope these insights help you reach new heights in your ServiceNow journey, and we are definitely excited to hear about all of the amazing things you accomplish. If you have any other tips that developers should know, or if you have any questions at all, leave a comment below and let us know. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and if you enjoy ServiceNow content like this, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with others. Once again, my name is Alan Andreas, host of Val Innovation, and until next time, take care.